So we're gonna check out this guy. I watched about 3 minutes of it. It was pretty good what I heard. And yeah, griefing from the PvPer's perspective by River Grit.
Go away! I keep telling you.
He's down.
Did he just say go away?
Yes.
Good enough to kill our friends.
Oh, I've been here for fucking 5 hours.
Let's just get this straight. There's
Thanks,
nothing
Mason.
worse than people throwing the G word around.
You got that, Christopher!
From day one, I've heard this word being used like all the time, and I've come to realize the whole community has a different definition of what this word means. So today, let's dissect what's griefing and what's not, and then I'll give you my opinions on the matter, so prepare to be triggered. In the PU, we've come to realize that the most common use of the word griefing comes from someone who actively kills someone with like no reason at all. So for example, killing someone when you have nothing to gain, or you know, they had no cargo, or they had no intention to fight but you kill them anyway. But that definition is completely false. Alright, let's just squash this right here, because it's a sandbox, and I'm going to explain why. But honestly, Salty Mike put it really, really well in one of the videos that I actually liked from him.
That's the thing. You can't claim that Star Citizen is this wonderful, great sandbox, because I'm sure people defend it on this end all the time. And then when you get sand thrown on you, then it's all of a sudden, is this ethical? Did you have a reason to do that?
Yeah, he's
I love that take. I'm not the biggest Salty Mike fan. There's some things that he says that I really don't agree with, and there's some things that I do like. That's one of the things I like. Now, previous to me starting this YouTube channel, I did a lot of PvPing, a lot of shooting people down, a lot of getting boots down on the ground and blasting people on the back of the head or in the front of the head if they were looking. Yeah, I don't see what the problem is. As they said, this is a sandbox. Every once in a while, somebody's going to throw sand at you. If you don't like it, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. I don't want to say get out of the sandbox or get good or anything like that. Everybody has a right to play this game the way they want to, but just be aware that there are people out there that are either going to A, shoot you down just because they saw you and they like pretty explosions, B, they're pirates and they want what's yours, or C, they just like killing things. I mean, that's just the way it is in Star Citizen. Be prepared for somebody to come after you. There are ways to mitigate getting pirated. There's ways to mitigate getting shot down right outside of the station. I've talked about it at length. I should probably talk about it again. I keep saying that, but I should probably talk about it again on this channel. I've talked about it on other channels. There are ways to mitigate the danger. Will you make it completely safe? No, you're not going to make it completely safe. Does wearing a seatbelt make you completely safe? No, it doesn't. But it's a way to mitigate danger to yourself.
He's got a point. I mean, honestly. So whether you like it or not, I mean, it's a sandbox and someone's bound to throw sand on you. Alright, hold up. Let me get this off my chest. Players need to know what they're getting into before downloading this game. If you're looking to solo grind, you're more than welcome to, but don't complain when someone ruins your immersion and kills you for absolutely no reason, because it can happen. And they don't need a reason either. You're not immune to PvP just because you stand up on a soapbox in global chat and tell everybody you're a medic. Listen, there's always going to be piracy, assholes, and people like us that just want to salt farm. I mean,
I love salt farming. I do have a counterpoint, and maybe he'll get to it, maybe he won't. Hey, what's up there, Ken? How you doing? PvP needs to be a thing. PvP needs to be a thing. It has to be a thing. Otherwise, this game has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to grow. But here's my counterpoint. There should be a safe area for people that want to be left alone. And I'm not saying make a PvP slider or PvP enabled, PvP unenabled, or however you may be thinking about it. What I'm saying is there has to be an area that's safe, that cargo runners can do their cargoing, miners can go do their mining thing, you know, whatever, hand mining or rock mining. But I want it to be set up this way. If you're going to be in an area that has no risk, then there should be very little reward. If you're going to go to an area with high risk, there should be very high rewards. That's how it should be. There's a lot of video games that make that a thing. So that's my only counterpoint to him. You know, he's saying that, you know, you can't get up on your soapbox and say, I don't want a PvP, I'm a medic, or leave me alone, I'm just mining out here by myself. You don't get to do that. Not yet. But then again, we don't have a safe zone yet. And Armistice doesn't count because Armistice is going to eventually go away. I'm going to let him continue now.
That's the best part about this game. You're free to play as you want. And if you didn't have the threat of someone potentially killing you, then the game would just be ass. It would be terrible. The definition of griefing is pretty simple. It's like 4 things. It's pad ramming, it's stream sniping, it's targeting another single player or group in an effort to thwart a singular progression, and it's utilizing exploits or cheats to gain an unfair advantage. It's that simple. Anything else is free game. But let's dive in and take a look at each one of those, because I'm sure there's some info there that you might not know about.
I've been called murder hobo so many times.
We all hate pad rammers. Even people like me who just kill everybody they see in the PU hate pad rammers. It just shows that you have no skill, and the only way you can effectively kill someone is through a pad ram. Because God forbid they exit the hangar and you have to showcase some skills to actually kill the person. However, CIG clearly states that pad ramming only refers to ramming a ship that's on a pad that can spawn vehicles. So the key word here is a pad that can spawn vehicles. The reason I'm saying that is a lot of people think pad ramming on mining outpost pads are bannable, but they're really not. It's not even against TOS. It's the Platinum Bay pads that are. So that said, mining outpost pads are actually free game, but we all know it's a cuck move and it actually lowers your credit score, so I wouldn't do it. Alright, stream snipe.
Pad ramming is awful. They are awful. And oh yes, Ken, you're absolutely right. You play a game like Overwatch or Battlefield, any of those where they got the trinity of DPS, tank, and healer, the healers are going to be targeted first. That's just the way it goes. I've seen Hell Let Loose, and I've seen the medics in there, and they get targeted immediately. You don't want healers getting the guys back up. So healers, I'm sorry, medics, healers, all you guys got a big target on your back whenever you're playing. That's just how it is. But yeah, I hate pad ramming. I agree with him on that. Pad ramming is awful. Like he said, it shows you have no skill.
Honestly, this should be a given. I don't think I really need to cover this one. However, it doesn't mean you can't kill a streamer or a content creator or something like that. I mean, for example, I have Blasphemous on my friends list, and whenever me and the Pax boys run into him naturally in game, and they're doing JT or something, which be sure we're gonna fight. We never go after him because they're streaming or anything like that, but hell, if I see you on the server and you're a streamer, be sure as shit, I'm probably gonna try to kill you. Targeting a player or a group. So, speaking...
Stream sniping is pretty dirty. I'm not a fan of it. You know, same thing. I have a couple of streamers on my friends list, like Jonathan Winters, Marcus, Cannot. You know, I think Starstreams is on my friends list as well. I also believe V is on my friends list too, also known as Space Shorts. When I see them on, I don't immediately fire up YouTube on my phone or my laptop and try to figure out where they are and go after them. No, that's dirty. I'm sorry, it's dirty. But if I run out into them, into the verse, and I happen to be in a ship that can take them, I'm probably gonna give them a what's up.
Speaking of Blasphemous, I heard he had some issues with this a little bit ago, where he would just have people who constantly would try to kill him, and they'd hop servers and stuff like that. I hate that shit. If you're following someone server to kill them repetitively, that's not cool. And skill or not, it's kind of an ass move. Like, but sitting outside of Grim and killing everybody that comes through, that's free game, man. That's not excessive killing or anything like that. You're just killing, dude. They have the right to go to another server if they want. I think the last piece that I'd tack on there...
Yeah, if hopping server to server to kill somebody over and over again and keep them from playing the game, that's that's a shit move and should not be done. Same thing, Mason. And I wouldn't actually stream snipe, but I would definitely be on high alert looking for those guys, because the guys that don't play the game but just do constant ship meets, or I've caught a few videos and streams of guys where all you're doing is looking at the side or the outside of a ship while they're in quantum and then flying around a planet. I don't understand that gameplay. I don't get it. I understand doing a ship meet. That's pretty fun. But if that's all you do, it's like the comment I got on one of my videos where I made a video about how you can make easy money immediately after a wipe, just so that you can buy some extra armor, maybe some ammo for your guns, maybe buy a few guns, maybe add some rockets or different shields to your ship, your starting ship, by going and farming some of the safe areas, some of the armistice zones areas. And I was told by somebody, well, if this is how you play the game, it's boring. I told them to please refer to the title of the video and the intro. This is to get some early money quick at the beginning of a wipe, or if you're a new player, just to get used to the game. I would never play like that. I just couldn't. It would be way too boring. It's the same thing with like mining. I would never just strictly be a miner. I would get too bored with just mining all the time. I would have to go and do something else. But that being said, everybody should be able to play the game they want to play. I just find it boring how some other people play it.
There's like hitting people up IRL or something like that and like spamming them with bullshit. That's not cool either. The next one's kind of weird. I haven't seen much of it. I've only seen a few instances where this happens. It's exploits, and exploits suck. Now, I'm not talking about like weird exploits that the game allows for, like putting scimitars on ions and infernos and stuff like that, when it only takes 50 meters to, target someone and pretty much one-tap them. I'm talking about exploits like, you're glitching yourself into a rock and shooting people, but they can't shoot back. Or like you're glitching through walls at JT and like sneaking in or something like that. I think that's cheesy, and you honestly suck at the game if you're doing it that way.
There's another exploit that he hasn't talked about. I don't know how to do it. I believe Canop knows how to do it, but I don't think he's ever done it with the intention of trying to ruin somebody's gameplay. He's done it for comedy purposes. You can make yourself go invisible, or make another player go invisible. I don't know how to do it, but that has been a big thing. People will do the thing to make themselves go invisible or their buddy go invisible, and then they'll go out to an area and they'll purposely get a crime stat on one of the guys while the invisible guy is murdering them all, or they'll go into a bunker and the invisible guy will and start murking everybody in there, or go to Jump Town and do the same thing. And that's not cool. The invisible thing sucks. You can also do it to ships as well. Once again, also not cool. I've had it happen to me pre-stream. I haven't caught it on stream since. Yes, exactly, Mason. Exactly. That's how you do it.
I see all these PvE lords on Reddit or YouTube and stuff like that crying, oh, you should do something to, dial back the griefers or stuff like that. It's not going to happen. The game allows for death, and most of us all have alts that we keep in prison to send merits to our main anyway.
That's the thing right now, too. I want to make another counterpoint. I'm sorry I keep pausing. Another counterpoint is I said that there needs to be safe zones. Right now in 318, if you go to prison, this is the problem with being a PvPer, is if you get no legit PvP fights where, you pass each other, drop flares, and it's a one-on-one, right? Whether it's a natural PvP or you're forcing it by hanging out outside of Grim Hex or something like that, somebody's going to charge you with a crime. If you die and you go to prison, you're running the risk of being stuck in prison until the next wipe, or until they reset your character. So there is some severe consequences right now in 318 for being a PvPer, and I'd like to see that go away as well. And even if you don't have an alt account, you get hit with, let's say you go maximum, you got 24 to 25 hours in real life to get out of prison. You go and do a couple of O2 missions. I don't want to say a couple. You do like 4 O2 missions. You're going to be out. It's going to take you 30 minutes to do it. So it's not like you're in prison for a super long period of time. I'm not saying make prison more punishing. It's already punishing enough, especially now in 318, outside of being stuck in prison for infinity. You can get killed in prison again, and that you don't want that to happen. And if you kill somebody else in prison while you got that little thing up here, the little satellite doodad, they add more time to your sentence. So, you know, there is consequences for PvPers. A lot of the things I see on Spectrum and Reddit act like there is no consequences for PvPers. There is a consequence for PvPers.
So higher prison times aren't even going to work. Some of us, we just don't kill for the alpha UEC. We kill for the salt. We don't care about the money. We don't care about the rep. Not to mention, seeing you in global chat having a complete meltdown is kind of funny. What blows my mind is the amount of salt and toxicity the PvE community has. They're the most toxic community in Star Citizen, when in all reality, what people don't realize is the most positive, uplifting, and friendliest group of Star Citizen players are the PvP community. It's a small group and everybody knows each other. I mean, there's only a handful of top tier PvP orgs in the game, and they have all the best pilots and PvP players. I mean, AVS, Black Fleet, Ramming Department, Pax Mortis, LR, just to name a few. However, the majority of them are pretty small and they're all in-house. I mean, you'll catch them in AC all the time, but when they're in the PU, some of them run blue and bounty hunt, but then there's the ones that run red too. Like I said, these guys pretty much all know each other, and they fight each other in AC and in the PU all the time. However, the majority of them get the most satisfaction from giving other players tips and advice to help them get better. I mean, they want others to share in the same joy that they find competitively fighting in the game. In conclusion, this is a sandbox. So let's be real, I have my game loop and you have yours. And honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, I would have nothing to do in the PU. And if it wasn't for me, you'd have a no-skill game to play. But don't call me a griefer just because I kill everybody I see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Rivergrit, and if you see me in the verse, then GG's in advance.
Nice. Nice. He did a good job on that. He did a really good job on that. Let me make sure I share that as well. You know, gotta be professional, you know. He's also gonna get a sub from me as well, because I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. So check that guy out. There's another thing I'd like to add to the PvP, PvE, griefer, murder hobo discussion, and that is a lot of what I see on Spectrum and Reddit is, how do I say this? It's somebody on there, 99% of the time it starts like this. I was out in the verse, minding my own business, hauling my Quantanium from one spot to another, and somebody just randomly killed me for no reason. I work, I have very little time to play the game, make the griefers stop. That was not griefing. You had a load of Quantanium. You were taking it from point A to point B. They shot you down and they took your stuff. That's called pirating. Just because you work a 40-hour job or an 80-hour job or however many hours you work, or you work from home, doesn't mean that you're immune from somebody shooting you down in this game. Currently, it's a sandbox. Currently, we're playing in a medium security sector or system. Currently, we have Armistice. And currently, we're so spread out. I've actually had a change of heart on this. We are so spread out across this one system. There is no real need to hire escorts. I've changed my view on this. I've talked to, at length, Space Shorts, Starstreams, Jack Axton. They get pirated once or twice a year, and they are big-time streamers. Once or twice a year they get pirated. So you're telling me that Joe Jim Bob, that worked a 9 to 5, got home, ate his dinner, put his kids to bed, and jumped on at 8:30 at night every Monday through Friday that he decides to jump on and play for the 2 hours, he's getting getting griefed immediately? No, he's not. And if he happens to be that statistical anomaly that, yeah, it's happening to him like that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get training. Find ways to mitigate it. I will probably have to do a video on how to mitigate stuff. Just a basic one on some basic flying and some basic navigation, because I think that's what a lot of people forget. Oh, and basic use of radar. Every ship has a radar. Why are we not using the radar? I don't get it. And just because they're blue doesn't mean they're friendly. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I liked what he did there. I like what he had to say. He was well thought out, well put together. His camera is amazing. Eventually, I'll get a camera as well. So we'll see what happens. But check out River Grit. I'm gonna check out more of his stuff. I really liked his perspective on PvP, PvE, griefing, and all of that. So yeah, it was really cool.